For this lesson, we are going to talk about estimating and how it relates to screen printing. First off, what is an estimate? An estimate is something that we use our experience and information that we already know to make a rough calculation, and this should be something a little bit better than a guess. What kind of things can we estimate when we're talking about screen printing? Well, we can estimate the cost to produce an order, the cost to charge a customer, the amount of materials that we're going to need to produce the order, and the amount of time expected to complete an order. Today we're going to estimate the time it takes to complete a screen printing order. So what do we need to know? We need to know the quantity that we're going to be printing, the type of artwork, how complex it is, the number of colors, how many print locations, the type and color of fabric that we're going to print on, the ink that we're going to use, and also the skill level of who is going to be printing these. Our example that we're going to be using is the graduation t-shirt order. There is a total of 277 shirts in this order. The next thing that we need to think about is the artwork that we're going to be printing. This is a two-sided job that uses a single color with bold, crisp text. We're going to be using royal blue ink, which is smooth and easy to print with, and we're going to be printing on a light color cotton t-shirt. So we will only need one coat to cover completely on this shirt. So now we're going to go ahead and make our estimate. What do we know about this order? So there's 277 shirts with a two-sided design, a single color on a light t-shirt. Remember to consider setup, prep work, cleanup, and preparing the order for delivery. This job is going to be completed by one person. So draw on your knowledge from working in the shop of how long some of these tasks might take. What I would like you to do now is go ahead and pause this video. Get yourself some scratch paper and jot down how long these different parts of the job will take. Add them up, and this is going to be your estimate. An estimate is better than a guess, so you really do want to write down the different amounts of times it's going to take and work from that. So now let's figure out how close you got with your estimate. I spent 90 minutes working on the following tasks. I coated 3 screens. We only need 2, but it's always a good idea to coat an extra one in case you have an issue with the burning of the screens. I unboxed 4 cases of t-shirts, sorted them and separated by size, counted the shirts to make sure nothing was missing and it matched my order, stacked the shirts on the cart face up because I'm going to start with the front of the shirt. I got my tape and my spray tack ready to go. I printed the screen positives for making my stencils, and I also wiped down the pallets and the clamps of the work area I would be using so I don't spread old ink from another job onto this new job. Hey, so we need to try to figure out how many shirts I can print in an hour to get a better estimate of how long it's going to take to do the whole order. So every job is different. I put earlier in this lesson that I have a lot of experience with this, but it's been a while since I've printed this much by myself. So I am going to set a timer and see how many I can print in an hour, and then hopefully we can better refine our estimate. So I'm going to go ahead and start it. Got my stopwatch going. I'm going to print and see what we get. Alright, so this is the first one. Looks good. Let's see how many I can get. Okay, so in that hour, I printed 92 shirts, which is 1 shirt every 40 seconds, which is pretty good. That's more than I thought I would get. But I probably could have actually printed more. I did stop several times to remove 74 of the shirts, the smalls and the mediums, from the bucket at the end of the dryer and lay them out flat to cool. So if I wouldn't have stopped, I probably could have printed over 100 shirts easily. The total number of shirts that we're doing is 277. That's 554 impressions, plus the setup time of changing screens in between. So far, I've spent 90 minutes in prep work, 50 minutes in setup work, and 60 minutes of printing. Okay, so I'm back in here again. I finished all the fronts this morning. It's 10:15. I've been here since 7:30. So I've added it up so far to get to this point with the setup, the printing of half of them, and setting up to do the other half. They're all stacked up, ready to go. I got my screen ready to go. So far I've spent 370 minutes on this, which is a little over 6 hours. So how are your estimates looking so far? Because I am only halfway through, and then they need to be sorted and bagged for delivery when they're done. So I'm going to go ahead and start the backs, and we'll see what the time ends up being. Looks good. So this is the back. So 276 more backs to go. Then I can sort them, stack them, and sort them again to bag them up. Okay? Okay, so I'm done now. Let's check out the results. I spent 90 minutes in prep work, 50 minutes in setup, 60 minutes of printing to get a base of how many I could do in an hour, another 120 minutes to finish the fronts and set up for the backs, 250 minutes to print the backs, 90 minutes to sort them for delivery, and then 20 minutes to clean up and power wash the screens. And the grand total is 680 minutes. That's 11 hours and 20 minutes total. So let's take a look back at your own estimates. How accurate were they? Were you close, or were you really far off? The numbers we got during this estimate, we can use to make other estimates. But what might change these numbers? Maybe we're going to print a multiple color shirt. If we're using 3 colors, we can't just multiply our print time by 3, because there's drying time in between each coat of each color. Maybe we're going to print on a different type of fabric. Certain fabrics take longer in the dryer or longer time to print. Maybe a different person is going to print the order. Can you work as fast as I can? There are also other things that aren't included in this total. This is the total amount of time I spent working. It doesn't include taking a break. So if you were a business owner, how could you use this estimate to help you? You could use it to tell a customer approximately how long an order might take. And also, you can use this to make sure you're charging enough money for your shirts. Because if I'm your employee, you might be paying me an hourly rate. So however long this job is going to take, you need to take into account how much you're paying me on top of the cost of the materials that we're working with. So time really does equal money in this case. So the next time you're asked to give an estimate, really stop and think about it. How can you make your best guess? And what kind of information do you need to make that guess? Estimating is an important part of any job, and hopefully the next time you need to make an estimate, you'll be ready.